Uh, Hello all and welcome back to my channel. I am Rabika Bhattacharya and I will be continuing with my deep learning playlist. Today I am going to show you some basics of Python, that is the basics things that you need to know in order to proceed with the other strings and the variables of Python. Now before starting with the coding part, I want to tell you that in my previous lecture I have already shown you the download and installation of the Anaconda Python Navigator. Now this Anaconda has two platforms that are available. One is the Python IDLE and the other one is the Jupyter Notebook that I will be using for my implementation purpose and also for the coding purpose. Apart from Jupyter Notebooks, there are also other platforms like Spider, Orange, Qt Console that are also available. You can check it from the Anaconda Navigator. Now this IDLE, I will show you that and how this IDLE works. So again I will write here Anaconda prompt, and in Anaconda prompt this is the location that I have the directory in which I have installed the Anaconda packages. So it will open again, the Anaconda prompt will open again like this, and in this Anaconda prompt I will click I will type IDLE and I will hit enter and it will open the Python shells. So yes, this is the Python shell, and you can see it from here that the version is shown here, that is Python 3.7.6. Actually this Python shell is like a notepad. It will open like a notepad and you have to type the code here, and this is my Python version, that is Python 3.7.6, and I have installed the 64 bits, so it is showing like this, that is the 64 bit and Python 3.6.7. now the Python shell actually runs the code or runs the program line by line. So you can see here that if you press enter, now it will form the new line. So this triple arrows are showing that it is the new line, and you have to enter the a single line of code. Now let me write here the first statement, print hello world. Yeah. Okay, so this is the print statement, and I want to run this. After writing this statement, if you press enter, then it will, yes, this is the output that it will show here, that is the hello world. So like this, if you again write something like print welcome, okay, and if you again hit enter, it will again show the output as welcome. So you can see that this Python shell actually runs the code line by line. So you will you will type one line and you will hit enter. Once you will hit enter, it will run the code and it will go to the next line. If there is an error, then it will give the error within this shell and it will not form the new line unless and until you have corrected the error. So this is the Python shell. Now one problem with this Python shell, that is this is an inbuilt environment of Python that is available. So this in this Python shell, if you write the whole code and after writing the whole code, if you close this Python shell, then your entire code will get destroyed. or will get deleted. So this is the problem with the Python shell. One problem is that it will run the code line by line, and in our implementations of deep learning we do not want the code to run line by line. You will see in my future videos that the code will be big, and so if the Python shell runs line by line, then it will be much more difficult for us to understand the code and to run the code also, and also to generate the output. So this is one problem of Python shell, that is it runs the code line by line, and you cannot write multiple lines and then run the code, because once you hit enter it will run the code and it will run that particular line, and it will form the next line in order to run the next write the next line of code. This is one problem of Python shell. Another problem is that after closing this Python shell, our entire code and the data and the records that we have entered in this Python shell in our code will get deleted or will get destroyed. So you cannot save it. So in order to save the Python, save the Python code, here you will click file and you will click new file. So now you can see here that it is like a notepad, and this Python 3.7.6 type help copyright, this is also not there in this untitled version of this new file. And if you write here again like print hello world, okay, print hello world, very welcome. So after writing this, you can save this file like file, save as, and let me name it as some test. Now remember that this Python shell, or Python ideally will save the file in the .py format. You will see it after saving the file. So I'm saving this file, suppose in my desktop I'm saving it. So I'm saving the file and I will run the file. You will click here run, and you will click run Python shell. Okay, so you can see here that it is running the Python shell line by line. So it is running here as welcome. So again you will run module. So yes, if you click run Python shell, so this is the difference between the Python shell and the module. So if you run the Python shell, then it will directly go to the Python shell, and it will prompt you to type some line in order to run the Python shell. And if you select here run module, then it will run the entire test file, the two lines that are available. In my case there are only two lines that are available, but if you write more than two lines, then it will run all the lines and it will show it in the Python shell. So again let me run this run module. So if you click run module, then it is showing the output as hello world and welcome, because I have given here print hello world and print welcome. So it is generating the output as hello world and welcome. This is actually the Python ideally that is provided by the Anaconda. This is actually the Python inbuilt environment, and this ideally actually saves the file as .py. So you can see here that this is test.py. So this Python shell or Python ideally will save the Python file in .py format. Now let me close this Python shell. In my implementation I will be using Jupyter Notebook, because as you can see that it is the the most common Python platform, and it also actually helps us to run the code in blocks also, in lines also, and also we can run the entire code at once. So the Jupyter Notebook is used in deep learning and also machine learning purposes. So I will be using Jupyter Notebook. So let me close this Python shell, and again in Anaconda prompt I will type Jupyter Notebook. I will hit enter, and it will open Jupyter Notebook in my Google Chrome, in my web browser. That is, my default web browser is Google Chrome. If your default web browser is Microsoft Edge, and if you do not have Google Chrome installed in your computer, then it will open Jupyter in your Microsoft Edge. Now I will create a new Python file, new Python 3. It will create the new Python file as this, and I've already told you that the default name is untitled. If you want to change the default name, you can change it. So let me change it to suppose, let us main basics. You can keep any name you want. So I am giving it as main basics, and I am renaming it. So this is the name of my Python file. Now I will show you some basics thing of Python that you should know before starting with the other strings and variables and integers and matplotlib and the other parts of Python. So first I will write here as print hello world. You will press Ctrl and hit enter. Now you can see here that hello world is generated as the output. Now you will add another cell. Now this is actually the first cell. Here I am working with string. Okay, so as you can see here that hello world that is enclosed within a quote. So this is actually I am working with string. Now let me write as print 10 plus 10. So this is the mathematical operation. So yes, so it is coming as 20. So it will perform the addition operation of 10 with 10, and it will result as 20. Now the advantage of Python over the other programming languages like Java and C is that it does not require the main function to run. So this is actually one advantage of Python. If you know any other programming languages like Java or C, then you know that these programming languages require the main function in order to run the code. But here Python doesn't require any main function in order to run the code. You can write directly the line and you will run it, and it will produce the output. So this is the main advantage of Python. Now let me add another line. Suppose I want to write suppose I want to write as print my name is Rebecca. So this, if you run this, it is showing like this: my name is Rebecca. Now suppose you want to write this same line, but you want to write Rebecca within double quotes. You want to produce the output as my name is Rebecca within double quotes. Then what will you do? So let me add another cell. Now print my name is, within double quotes I will write here as Rebecca. So this is actually the line that I want to print, that is my name is Rebecca, and I want to print Rebecca within this double quotes. Okay, so if I run this cell, then control enter, my name is Rebecca. So you can see here that my name is Rebecca is enclosed within double quotes. So in this way you can print anything within double quotes if you want in this Jupyter notebook. Now let me add another cell. Suppose let us take a string. Now remember one thing, that like Java and Python, if you know Java, like Java, Python doesn't have any concept of characters, it only have the concept of string. If you know Java, then you already know that Java has characters and strings both, but in Python there is no concept of characters, only the concept of string is there. So I will take one string as, suppose str1 is equal to, suppose I will write as hi. Second line I will take another string str2 and I will write Rebecca, and I will print str1 plus str2. And now if you run this code, yes, so this is the actual output that is generated. str1 is hi, str2 is Rebecca, and now if we print str1 plus str2, then it will produce the output as hi Rebecca. Now you can see here that there is no space in between hi and Rebecca. So this plus sign is actually concatenating the two strings, that is, it is basically adding the two strings and or concatenating the two strings, and it is showing as hi Rebecca. Now if you want to output this hi Rebecca, this same line with a space between hi and Rebecca, then you can print like print plus, within single quotes you will type a comma with a space in it, and then plus str str2 is already given, so plus str2. So if you run this code again, so control hit enter, so yes, you can see here that hi and Rebecca is separated with a comma and space in between. So this is actually the concept of concatenation of the strings. Now this string str1, I am giving the input during the coding itself. Now if you want the user, or if you want yourself to enter the input during the runtime of the program, then you will use the input function. So let's see how this input function works. Now str1, again I am taking str1 is equal to input. So this input function will prompt the user to input a string or an integer. So input, I will give a bracket and I will type enter first, enter first string. I will take another string as str2 is equal to input. It will again prompt the user to enter the second string, enter second string. So when we will run this particular cell, then you can see that during the runtime the Python interpreter will prompt the user to enter the first string and the second string. So this is the function of the input. So this input function actually helps the Python interpreter to prompt the user to enter the input during the runtime. This input will then helps the user, or will help the help you in order to change the input during the runtime, because you can see here that str1 is equal to hi, str2 is equal to Rebecca. I am hard coding it, and you cannot change this str value or the value of str1 or str2. So if you use this input function, then you can change the value at any time during the runtime. So this is the two function, that is str1 and str2. And now if I print, I will copy this from here only, print str, I will copy and I will paste it. So print str1 plus with a comma plus str2. Now if you run this, control enter, so yes, this will prompt the user to enter the first string. So let the first string is hi, the second string suppose Rebecca. So as you can see here that I am entering the string, the value of the string during the runtime, or after running the program, the Python interpreter is prompting me to enter the first and the second string. So I am entering the string. My first string I have entered as hi, my second string I have entered as Rebecca. So I will hit enter, and yes, it will produce the output as hi Rebecca. So this is actually the function of the input. Now this is this thing I have shown you with the shown you the operation of the strings, how the input function works with string. Now what happens in case of integer or float? When the value, when our value is, when we want to take the value as an integer or a float, then what will happen? Now suppose num1 is equal to input enter a number. Now suppose you want to enter the number, enter any integer number or any float number. Now what will you do in that case? You will type input enter a number. Now remember one thing, that this input function in Python takes the default input as string. So suppose num1 is equal to input entered a number, and if you want to show the type num1, so it will output the type of the num1 variable, that is what type of variable is inputted to the what type of value is inputted to the num1 variable. So let us run this, control enter, enter a number. Suppose I am writing as 29 and I am clicking as enter. So you can see here that it is actually a string. So this input function is actually taking this the value as a string. So you cannot perform any addition, multiplication or any mathematical the operations on this string. So you have to convert this the number that you have entered into the string. So what will you do for that purpose? You will write here as int input enter a number. So this int will typecast, or it will change the type of the number, that is from string to an integer. So it will just typecast the value, that is the input that the value that you have entered from the string to integer. Now if you run this, if you enter as 29 and hit enter, you can see here that yes, it is int. So this int function has changed the type of the value that you have entered from string to integer. So this is the some of the basics of the Python that you need to know before starting with the actual part. The print statement and how the input function works and the typecasting in Python. Now I will give this Python file in my description box. I will upload in my the Python file in my GitHub repository. You can get the Python this Python file from from my GitHub repository. I will post the link in my description so that you can download it from GitHub and you can practice it if you want to. So this is the basics of Python, and one thing you need to remember that this Jupyter Notebook actually saves the Python file in some other format, that is .ipynb. So this is not a .py file, but if you want to change it to a .py file, then you can click as file and you can save it or download it as, yes, here it is .py. You can download it as a .py file or a .txt file or PDF on a notebook if you want to. So this Jupyter Notebook saves a file in a different format. I will upload this file, this specific file, in my GitHub repository, and I will also mention the link in my description so that you can download it or you can see it, see the file for practice if you want to. So that's all for today. Have a good day. See you in my next lecture. Thank you.